Hello and welcome to Ladies Talking Business. I'm your host, Moremi, Akano. On this show, we break down the concept of business to its simplest form. With me in the studio today is Ifeoma Uddoh, the founder of Shecluded, the first neobank FinTech focused on women. She has notable experience in funding women, analytics, technology startups, and products. Ifeoma has been featured on several entrepreneurship panels and master classes hosted by First Bank, EDC, FinTech Asia, Johns Hopkins University, just to mention a few. Happy to have you on the show today, Ifeoma.
Thank you so much for having me.
And you look gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay, so female entrepreneurs, female funding, everything female related. What inspired you?
So I worked at a seed funding company for 4 years. I think between 2015 to 2019 before I started. And I sat on different panels and something struck me. I didn't see women entrepreneurs. So I think initially it was like people are coming to request for funding for their business. If female entrepreneurs are not coming forward, how do they get money? And it took me to do like a lot of research on women and funding and business. And I found out that in Africa, actually, women account for the highest number of MSME and entrepreneurship in the sector around the world. And they are they all stay as MSME. And, you know, one of the reasons was access to funding, whether it's credit or equity investment. And at that time, I was pregnant with my third child, so I felt the pressure of trying to balance work and being a mother, and I felt like it was just right to have a company that was solely focused on women and to understand what are the challenges that keep these women from coming forward for investment, and what are the challenges on the other hand from investing in them. And you know, I felt I was just led to do that. I felt it was challenging enough, and I felt it was something that I wanted to put my life in.
Interesting. So talking about the female businesses and challenges and all of that, in what sectors do we have less than 1% female participation, especially in Nigeria?
So we recently launched something last year with a company that does export trading for commodities, and when I was talking to her, I found out that women account for less than 1%. In
that export industry?
Yeah, export industry, commodity trading, and guess what? Like, it's actually a big industry, and the margins are very good. Transport, I mean, a number of women are beginning to see opportunities in transport. So what else? There are different industries, so many of them. We find out that many women are more clustered in trade. And when we talk to trade, we talk to things about like beauty, we talk to things about like household. And when I look at their contribution and their play in that sector, it's usually on a micro scale.
Talking about exports, that caught my interest a bit. So what do you give? Can you give women ideas of things they can export? I mean, especially coming from Nigeria, where we feel like we don't export anything in this country, we import instead. So what can you give us ideas of things that can be exported?
Guess what? Everything can be exported. Everything you think about it. Like, I was talking to somebody, we recently registered in the US, and I was talking to the lawyer. He said, even for Walmart and some food chains, they're looking to put African just for representation on their shelf. So knowing that as an entrepreneur, whatever trade you're doing, whatever product you're creating, having the mind that it can be on a shelf globally is something that every female entrepreneur should aspire for. Guess what? It's not dreaming big. The world is now very global. It's one village. So that's it. In terms of the commodity trading, what we did was that we partnered with the trading company, I think TOFA, at the time, to say that how do we get more women to start doing commodity trading? Basically, they buy maybe tons of products, maybe soya milk, soya beans, whatever, commodity products in large quantities. So what I noticed is that many women don't have that capacity to be able to play at that level. So what we did is that we worked with them, we trained a few women, and we gave them funding to be able to do it. And it was very, very impactful. I mean, when I was talking to one of them, she said that typically the soya beans, when they harvest it, because they don't have where to store it, some people have to now sell it just for food. so that it doesn't spoil with them. So because she now has the capacity to export from there, she buys from them and she pays them money. So I'm happy to know that even though we're creating capacity for her, we're also catering to the women on the bottom of the pyramid to get people buy off their product immediately they have it.
That's a good business idea and business sense.
Yeah, it's very big, it's very good, and we encourage more women to actually get on it. And if it's something that you're interested in, sure,
I will hit you up. Okay, so how can we encourage better female participation in fintech?
So I think it starts from, I remember one of my friends asking me, why did you start a fintech company? Everybody thinks about hair business, food business, skincare,
makeup,
beauty, and everything. And it struck me because the only reason why I was able to think about it was that I sat down in that space, and unfortunately for me, or fortunately, everybody there was men. So I sat down at a table with so many men trying to build different things in technology, and it's now made me think like them. So the first key step is, especially when I talk to women and I tell them about changing the course of their life, is that you need to change your circle. I was opportune to be with circle of like men that wanted to change the world, and for some reason, just by sitting down there, and even if it was just handing them handouts and stuff, I started seeing that I could actually change the world. There was nothing special. Yeah, it's like, guy, this guy doesn't look like a superhero. I bet I can do that too. So yes, I think that that's it. Just looking to create something that is big enough to solve a problem. I think that that's just what drove me. And anybody, any woman can do it. How? Just look for that. Understand the sector. It can be fintech. It can be any sector. Understand it. Mingle enough with people in that sector and think about your sweet spot. That's the problem that you want to solve, and just go. Guess what? I think for so many women, it's about the fear of failure. And for so long, I feel women have felt that they are these people that shouldn't fail. You only learn by failing. Try enough. Like if you're doing, I always tell my team, and I always say to myself, if you're not failing enough, it means you're not doing enough new things.
So failure is part of the process. Failure
is learning. You know, there's one day I was talking to a guy in my former job, and he was telling me, and that conversation changed my life. He said, when you want to aim for 1 billion. If you aim for 1 billion, when you fall, you can fall at, 500 million or 100 million. And it just opened a new spur in my life. So whenever I want to take a big shot, you just take two, and you just take the highest shot. Guess what? When you fall, you might just fall somewhere nice. But when you start from aiming at the small
or the medium
stuff, and guess what? He said it takes the same energy and the same effort to actually aim for something big and something medium.
So. Interesting. We'll have more conversation on this. We will be back for more conversations with Ifeoma after the break. I'm still here with Ifeoma Uddoh of Shecluded, a neobank fintech focused on women. Okay, Ifeoma, we're talking about fintech and how women can play their part in this industry. You mentioned something just before we went on break about it has to do with technology, but that just struck something in my head. How can you bring in technology into almost any area of your business?
So, I mean, with the advent of COVID, nobody's asking basically, how can we use technology? Because when you think about it, even people that sell like hair, for instance, everybody's on Instagram selling. That's technology for your business.
Yeah.
So the first step is that COVID has forced everybody. Everybody virtually now is using technology for their business, whether it's payment transfer, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, whatever, everybody's using. So there's a higher level to say, how can you use technology to solve problems? The way to think about it is always think of technology as an enabler. I think for me, when I look at technology and companies that have worked very well in Africa, is how do you use technology to enable a culture or an action that has been happening offline? So I think that that's the key way to think about it. And knowing that technology is the enabler, not really the business. if you want to think about technology business, there's too many. When you think about you think about, do you want to play a platform strategy or do you want to play a service strategy? So there's so many cadres of it, and there's so many challenges no matter what you want to do. So I think the first step is just to think about, how do I use technology to enable something that people always do every time, and how can I make it easier?
I mean, talking about enabling, I never knew you could host a party via online platforms.
Me too.
Just thinking about them, like, and people are literally dressed up for the parties, but it's online.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
I mean, COVID brought so many things. I mean, the other one time I went to Instagram and I saw like okay, I shouldn't be saying this on TV. Yeah. So yeah, anything that you think about that people do offline, including like everything is now online. You can get the same. I don't know if it's the same experience, but I mean, it's the same service.
You don't lose out completely.
Sometimes they say it's cheaper because, you know, because the person doesn't have to go to where you are and stuff. It's technology actually makes it cheaper, but I don't know about the same experience. But for some things, it should be the same experience.
Amazing. Let's talk about financial inclusion. What role does it play in the development of a state, a nation, even globally?
So I think that when people think about financial inclusion, and the concept of financial inclusion needs to be very clear. Okay. Financial inclusion has for a long time been sold from a policy point of view, where government is saying, hi, we want to include people. And you know what that is. Everybody's feeling they don't want to sell. But I feel that when you start driving financial inclusion from the other way, where you're telling them that, hi, we want you to consume more financial services to better your financial standard and to make you live quality life. So for example, if you have a bank account, anybody across the world can pay into your bank account, so you earn more money. With your bank account, you can now have a record. Tomorrow, your bank can give you a loan from that record. So from that, you can now say, hi, I want to also have health insurance. If you have a health insurance, anytime you're sick, you go to the hospital and you don't need to pay anything. Do you understand me? If you have a shop, you have to insure your shop, basically, so that if anything happens, you know that you're good. You have an insurance to be able to pay your premium, to be able to start again. So I feel that that's what is missing when I think about conversation of in financial inclusion. Financial inclusion is vital for the people. You know, like a lot of times when I hear the conversation, it's always about the government, but for the people, and that's why it looks like many people are not coming on the table. For the people, is for your life. It makes you have access to more quality information. On the government level, it gives them more information to be able to know who their citizens are, how to actually serve them and stuff. So I think that that's how I see financial inclusion in helping to develop countries. It helps them tackle the sustainable development goals. It helps the people get better knowledge, better use of financial services for their own life.
Thank you for clarifying that. I've never really seen it from the other perspective.
Yeah, whenever I think about financial inclusion, everybody is always missing it. People don't want to do things except it's for them, except you care about them. That concept of financial inclusion being for the government, for the policymakers, we need to change that to start saying, hi, this is for you. If you have health insurance, you'll be nice. If anything happens, you go to the hospital. More people will come. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Okay, so can you give us tips on how, because I know you're in this space, SME, funding and all those things. Can you give tips on how SMEs or startups can access funds to upscale easily? Because it seems like it's a tedious experience and process. But what should they bear in mind? What should they know before trying? What do you think they should expect just to help the process easier?
So the first thing that I always tell people, like I work with a lot of women that have been running businesses for 15 years, 10 years, and something that struck me is that, hi, my name is blah, 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 I run a small business. That's small business. I run a business. Nobody funds a small business. Nobody wants to fund a small business. The risks are too high. So guess what? Hi, I fund a business. And that's what, if you notice, even within the tech space, some companies that say, hey, I'm a startup. They've been here for 7 years.
And they're claiming startup.
And they're claiming startup. So it's the fact that you need to understand that nobody wants to fund a small business. I know it sounds prejudiced. I know it doesn't sound fair. But you need to know whether you want to be the victim on that end and, you know, join those that will be crying, or you want to know whether you should look from the place of strength. And I always like from the place of strength. So you stay there and say, hi, I want to run a business that people want to fund. So it means that it will not be a small business. So with that, it gives you the vision. So I think that when you have that mindset, even the vision of how you're thinking about it, even the people you're bringing to your team changes. So for example, my team, I don't like yes ma people. Like it's like gosh, I have 3 kids. I'm not looking for any other kid. Do you understand what I mean? So that's some of the challenges. It changes everything to know that you want to be a big business. You want to be a global business. You know, find those type of things that make you look like that. The way you communicate, the way you even portray yourself, the way the people you choose on your team help. Then again, know that people don't want to give you money. People want to make money from you.
Yeah.
I know it sounds like very, very like capitalist, but you know,
it is the reality.
It is the reality.
Yeah.
So every time you're thinking about an opportunity for money, you need to know that you need to be selling to the person what they can get.
So how can this other person make money off you
Yes.
as well?
So like I meet a lot of people and they are pitching for like a business competition, and I say, hey, so I do this thing with my this and I do it from home, and yes, so that's it. Like, okay. But if you come and you say, hey, hi, so this is my business. If you're able to fund me by this, we'll grow our team by this, and I'll be able to make this return. And in the next 5 years, I feel that XX will come and buy us or something. Like show people the money. You know that it is always a sell. It's like, you know, trying to date a fine girl and not having yours. I think that's it for SMEs. Just like I hope that, you know, with the whole conversation was clear, knowing that, you know, your business needs to be more than small business. You need to know that your team, you need to try and pick the right people in your team. You need to know that when you're talking to somebody to put in money, it's always about, they're always thinking from the opportunity, from the mindset of what can I get from you. And you need to step forward and show forward. You know, getting no's, learning from it. I mean, I've learned from so many no's, like, in my life, that when people, and like for each no, like no is not personal. Like when people say no, you know, like it's like sometimes I tell, I work a lot with female entrepreneurs, and being female sometimes no can look like, you know, someone just jilted you again.
You know, you are.
So I'd say go in front of the mirror, practice no, that, because guess what? For every yes, you know, so we recently got this Google Black Fund, and everybody's like, oh gosh, how did you guys get it? This. You know, it made me start looking like one superstar, and I'm like, gosh. Do you know how many no's we got? Like seriously, and some of them are very good enough to give us feedback, and some of the feedback you sit down and think about it, makes sense. Some of them is like, it's not in line with the vision of what I want to build, and that's okay.
Interesting, Ifeoma. Thank you for that. We will go on a short break. Please stay with us. Thanks for staying with us on Ladies Talking Business. We have been having conversations with our guest, Ifeoma Uddoh. All right, Ifeoma, so what are some of the untapped areas in technology in Nigeria? Because I'm sure there are some things we've not even opened our minds to in this part of the world.
Gosh, like, it's so funny that you asked me this question. I wish I'd seen it. So because, I mean, during COVID, we did a lot of research about like places and sectors that technology will disrupt and possible ideas. So I think it's in a spreadsheet in my mailbox and stuff. I mean, I can share with you. But, so since this is on the spot, what am I thinking about?
That you just think that if people know what they can do in this area, a lot of people will be rich in Nigeria.
Ah, gosh. This is so on the spot. Technology. So where do I see gaps? I still see gaps in Pan-African remittance.
Can you explain further?
Like remittance across African countries. Like, you know.
Like having to
send money to Ghana to do this, to do that and stuff. So just looking for a technology to and having to deliver. Gosh, man, this is so like
That was you
understood.
had a thought, having to deliver what?
Then what else? Having to deliver goods to across that line.
Still within Africa?
Yes. So what else again? Just being able to, so with the globalization of the world and with more people saying, hey, we want more African goods on our shelf, just being able to create that business where, hi, so come to me for vetted African goods that can supply. Then what else? I mean,
in that situation you spoke about, a lot of these people, you can reach them online, right?
Yeah, you can. I mean, we're trying to create a partnership with one of them to be able to get more female entrepreneurs on the shelf and stuff. But yeah, this is like a research work, please.
Absolutely, I agree. But you've definitely given us something. So let's talk about working with women. How has it been working with women? And when I mean how, when I say how has it been, I mean how has it been?
So there's so many days that, I mean, so I come from a STEM background. So my first degree is in mathematics, then I worked at PwC, then I've been in tech. So it means that for most of the tables I'm sitting, there's just one or two girls. So, and then I'm like, okay, I want to go and build a company for women. I thought I understood women, and I didn't understand the challenges of being female, even though I was female, until I started working with women. You know, for so many, for example, just a quick one, you know, like, so I noticed that when I finished school, I was thinking about getting a job and, you know, doing things better. And I noticed that some of my female friends, most of them, were thinking of, you know, nothing. I was like, okay. So I didn't understand that because I lost my dad at 9, and I watched my 27-year-old mom at the time take care of 4 kids. It shaped my impression to know that I'm not waiting for somebody to come and help me, because that person might just not be there. I have to actually always make sure I'm helping myself. So that head up, I didn't notice that when I started working with women. So we're working with women, I saw like some of the nurture elements that has helped their mindset. Like, women are one of the most powerful, intelligent beings, but some of them just don't want to put that extra effort, or just don't believe in themselves enough.
I think that they don't believe in themselves enough.
I think that, you know, I was reading somewhere, like, for all their life they've been told to be second best, and none of them have thought about sitting down to even say, let me be the best for some time. So I know that women are powerful people, and anything they put their mind on, they will do it. We're working with them. I've noticed that I need to teach a number of them to say financial etiquette. So it's like, when it's time for money, it's not time to be blinking and be smiling. If somebody asks you how much you need, don't say, I don't know. In an investment conversation, like, it doesn't work. Like, when I was talking to one of my investor friend that works at a PE firm, he said he doesn't understand, like, dude, why does she look like, he doesn't understand it, and they will now say they don't get money. So it's like, know that money conversation is serious conversation, and everything from the way you blink, from your body language counts.
Wow.
It's war. In war, what do? You win or you die. So that's it. I also teach them in terms of financial etiquette, it's time for repayment of your loan. Don't say I'll pay it again later because something happened. Send an email before time and say, hi, based on this, I want to like to schedule to the 20th. I'm sorry for the inconveniences. Please send me the penalties and stuff. And on that day, I'll get your money. Like, show accountability, show that you understand money. Because even though people say that they don't fund women, sometimes I've seen that women make it like an emotional affair. It is not an emotional affair, it's business. When you come to a business table, don't bring emotions. I know that everybody died, somebody cries, so many things are happening to you. Guess what? There are times to discuss this, but when it's business and money, try to, you know,
compartmentalize and just stick to business.
This is the big word. You just said the big word. Compartmentalize it, or what? Like,
compartmentalize.
Yeah, it's something that I struggle with. I know, like, having kids, being a wife, being working with people, working with women and stuff. Try to compartmentalize your life, whatever that is. Then finally, is just take charge of your financial journey. I talk to women in their 40s, in their 50s, and some of them are broken down to me and say, hey, I always thought somebody would take me to London.
Okay.
Do you understand what that feels? For you to be 48 and you felt that all your life somebody was coming to take you to London and nobody came. And I told her and I said, hi, there's London in you.
Wow.
I wish somebody told her at 26. Some of your dreams, guess who would make them come true? You. It's inside you. Once you have that dream, you have the ability, every ability to make it come true. Believe me. Take it from someone that's been there, that felt like, oh gosh, I'm not good enough. I still feel that way. So don't worry. Take it from someone that feels like, gosh, I dropped out from school, I wasn't good in school, and I still became one of the top in my class. Like, it's everything you ever want is valid. But guess what? You've been taught for so long that it's outside you, but it's inside you. Wow. And the thing that I always tell women is the fact that a broken woman, nobody helps a broken woman. So you can't be broken and broke. You gotta choose. You gotta choose sides. Some of them you can control, but in terms of being broke, you might not be able to control it. In terms of being broke, guess what? You can control it. Like, make sure you're not a victim. It is. If you're a woman, you don't have direction, you don't have money. In a broken world, guess what you'll be? You'd just be a victim. So it's some of the perks that I get with working with women. I've learned so much from them. It's so funny that for some time I say, God, why did you put me here? I want to be sitting down on tables with men where there's no emotions. But I feel like God always has a sense of humor. So
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, Ifeoma. We've also learned a lot from you today, and we wish you the very best.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Ladies Talking Business today. Do join us the same time next week for another episode. Don't forget to follow us on PlusTvAfrica Lifestyle on YouTube to catch up with our programs. I'm Moremi Akano. See you next time.